Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, My Social Thread. I'm Crystal and today I am revealing my makes for January. If you've seen my vlog for my January plans, you'll know that I only had two makes planned because I only started vlogging last month, January. It's the 1st of February today, and I only had 1 week left in the January to sort out what I was going to make, to cut out the pattern, cut out the fabric, and obviously sew up the garment. So I have done them though. Two quite simple makes, I would say, for a confident beginner or improver. And the first of those makes is the Tilly and the Buttons Billy. And this is the pattern envelope here. Sorry, I did just rip that today. And these are the line drawings. So I've made the standard sweatshirt, not the dress or tunic version, but I've hacked the sleeves. I've joined the balloon sleeves and the normal sleeves together, giving me a slim shoulder but a balloon cuff. And here is the make here. This is the neckband, obviously, and I've got a little label on there that says this is the back. And that's from Kylie and the Machines. Now, I think labels are, well, they are very cute and they do make your garments look professional. But I think for the most part, I normally use them for t-shirts or jumpers or tops, where when you pick it up, you don't really know which is the back or which is the front, unless you hold it out properly to see where the neckline is higher or lower. Obviously, higher would be the back, lower would be the front. But with a label, it's easily identifiable. With regards to dresses, I would only put them in there if I just fancy, you know, adding an extra detail or an extra touch to the garment. But really, you don't really need it for a dress, because you would know which is the front and which is the back. So this is made in a fleece back sweatshirting from Sew Me Sunshine. You can see the fleece back there. And I also bought the matching navy ribbing. And this is the slim shoulder. And I've graded it out to the balloon sleeve. And if I just hold that out, you can just see the volume of that cuff there. If I stand back, you've got the waistband there. And there you go. It's a beautiful Billy sweatshirt. I'll pop up some pictures of me wearing it and some pictures of the detail as well. In the meantime, I just thought I'd talk about the pattern. So in the pattern envelope, you get the instruction booklet. And in here, Tilly's instructions are really known for taking you every step of the way, holding your hand. They're very informative. They're all full color pictures. Step-by-step guide. So really making a Tilly and the Buttons is great for beginners, confident beginners, improvers, and even for sewers that have sewn for a long time. Perhaps they haven't done a particular skill in a while, like inserting a knit neckband, or perhaps inserting a zip. You haven't done that for a while. So with Tilly and the Buttons patterns, you don't need to worry. Everything is in the instruction booklet, and you should have a wonderful make at the end of it, having followed the instruction booklet. Just to say, and also, sorry, you get the patterns. Can't really see. Pattern sheets. And the first thing I did is I traced my patterns, and the reason for that is I always think that perhaps if I was to cut it, for example, I could only use that size, but if I was to trace it in the size that I wanted, I could retrace the pattern again for somebody else, for example my daughter or my mum or whoever else wanted to use the pattern that was a different size to myself. And so I'm a tracer, and then after I traced the pattern, obviously I cut out the fabric, and then I went ahead and sewed up my Billy. For the most part, I used my overlocker to sew it. Apart from the neckband, I did base the neckband around the neck first to make sure it was sitting properly, because with knits, I'll show you with knits, when you insert the neckband, you have to stretch it across along the way. So the neckband is actually slightly smaller than the neck opening, and if you stretch it around, you'll make it all the way round, and that way the neckline lies flat. Otherwise you'll have a saggy neckband, which isn't very nice to look at or nice to wear. So I did it for the most part on my overlocker. Unfortunately, my overlocker wasn't having it. It just wasn't cutting. It wasn't cutting the fabric for the seam allowance. So what I ended up doing was just not having the seam allowance and just overlocking it on the side of the fabric. So really, to be fair, this is slightly too big for me, because a normal seam allowance is 1.5 centimeters or 5/8 of an inch. And thinking about the sides, that would be 3 inches on one side, 3 inches on the other side, 3 inches on the sleeve seams as well. So that's sort of 3, 6, 9, 12 inches of extra fabric that I have in this garment. I do like it. It's very cozy, very wearable, and I would still wear it without adjusting it. But for the future, I will make sure that my overlocker is now working. I managed to figure out how to get the blade to cut properly. So I will make sure I sew it according to the required seam allowance. The second garment I made for January was the Lee Camden skirt. And this is the pattern here. Ooh. This is the pattern here. It's the Lee Camden. It's actually a pinafore and a skirt. So you obviously just omit the top bodice part and you're left with the skirt. And with my version, I decided to lengthen mine. I lengthened it in the end by 4 inches, only because I prefer my skirts to be just below the knee. So I lengthened it by 4 inches, and I lengthened it at the lengthen shorten line. And that was quite easy enough to do. What's inside the pattern envelope? You get an instruction booklet again. And this is beautifully designed as well. It is informative, but it's not colour. It's not in colour, and it doesn't have real fabric pictures like you would in the Tilly and the Buttons instruction booklet. Also, the instructions aren't as hold my hand like Tilly does. So for example, where you have to insert the zip, all it says really is insert the zip into the outer waistband. It tells you where to put it 1.5 centimeters away from the raw edge. And then it says, once the zip is installed, blah, blah, blah. And for me, I haven't inserted an invisible zip for a while. I've actually, to be fair, done a lot of buttonholes. No zips, actually, to be fair. And I'd forgotten how to insert an invisible zip. So I had to go onto YouTube. Well, first of all, actually, I went onto Nina Lee's website. I don't believe I saw that she had a blog, but normally pattern companies, they will have a blog on their website, and that will show you sort of the common hacks or the common issues that people are having with their patterns, and they'll do like a little tutorial or a little blog post on it, so you have some sort of idea of how to, for example, insert a zip or how to fix a problem that other people have had with their patterns. There wasn't that on the Nina Lee website, so I had to go into YouTube and I had to check out several YouTube videos of somebody making the Camden skirt. Now, the only difference with it wasn't as helpful was because I didn't line mine. So obviously the video tutorials were showing all the processes with the lining, which confused me a little bit as well. So I just had to go to a normal standard YouTube video on how to insert an invisible zip. I managed to do it in the end, but I would have liked that the instruction booklet just explained, you know, where to put the zip tape, you know, how close to sew the zip to the edge of the fabric and everything else. But in the end, I just kind of did it my own way to the best of my knowledge, and I think it turned out quite well. Here is the zip. As you can see, it's invisible, which is always a good thing for an invisible zip. There's a little zip tape there, and I'll pull it down. There you go, that's the zip. And there you go. So the skirt is that's it, Nina Lee Camden skirt. This is in the caramel jumbo cord from Sew Me Sunshine. You can see the waistband there and the pockets. There's one pocket there and another pocket on the other side. And then at the back, you just have the waistband, the invisible zip, and you've got 2 waist darts down here as well for a bit of shaping. So, on top of the invisible zip issue, the other issue I had was with the pockets. I don't know if you can notice, one pocket seems slightly pointier than the other. This has got like a pointy edge down here. And I had a look at the pattern pieces on the Nina Lee pattern sheet, and the bottom of it isn't straight, so it is kind of at an angle. And I wonder whether, because she puts the lining on the pockets, that adjusts itself to become a straight line. to become a straight line here. You can see it better there. It's kind of got a dip there. So again, I omitted the lining for mine. This is just, I've just overlocked it and folded it over and stitched it down, because I have a couple of ready to wear cord skirts that don't actually have linings. It's from Marks and Spencer's. They don't have linings in the like pocket bag linings. So I just didn't do that. I just overlocked all the edges, turned it over and sewed it down. So for the future, I am just going to amend this pattern piece a bit and just have a straight bottom line, and hopefully I'll omit that pointy bit there, which obviously isn't noticeable to most people, but for me, because I've made it, I can see it. Also, the other issue that I had was, well, it's my fault really, it's not the pattern's fault at all. The waistband, I put the waistband the other way round. So with corduroy and with velvet, the fabric has a nap, and the nap basically means the way in which the fibers of the fabric move. So for example, you're supposed to apparently wear cord where when you brush it down, it's smooth, and when you brush it upwards, it's rough, and that's the nap. So all of the skirt pieces, the whole bottom of this, the nap was going down, which is meant to be. But with the waistband, I had put it the other way around, so the nap was going up. And it's not so noticeable until you go in a different light, and you'll be able to tell that it's not the same nap because it's a different color. So for example, all of this is going downwards. If I have this piece of fabric where the nap is going upward, no, the nap is going upward, I will show you the difference. So I don't know if you can tell, you can actually tell there already. If I in the light, one looks a different color. Again, look, the scrap is darker and the skirt is lighter. This light, it's the other way round. The scrap fabric is lighter and the skirt is darker. So when making things with corduroy and with velvet or any fabric that has a nap, you have to make sure that all your fabric pieces are cut out in the same nap. Otherwise, from far away in different lighting, it will look like you have different colored pieces of fabric on your garment. So that was my fault. I had to unpick that and reattach the waistband, and after that it was fine. Would I make it again? Yes, I would make it again. I have already a couple more in the pipeline. I want to do a navy one, and obviously my the dark forest green corduroy that I got from Fabric Godmother, which was one of my make 9s. Oh, and also I forgot to say the Tilly and the buttons sweatshirt that I made is one of my make 9s. So that's one I can cross off my make 9. And that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Just to say, today I am wearing my Tilly and the Buttons Lyra dress in the maxi version, which is actually the midi version, but because I'm short, it's maxi on myself. The short sleeve version in a light blue chambray from Minerva Fabrics, and I've got little heart buttons there. Again, just wearing it with a belt as I normally do, but it is quite loose. If I take it, it's quite a loose fit dress, which is good for maternity or postpartum, and then you can add the belt as you wish. The pattern normally comes with ties, but I omit the ties and I just use a belt. And if I just stand up here, I'll show you the length of the maxi on myself. Pockets, and then I've got the big tier and the narrower tier at the bottom. And that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed that. I've got more vlogs coming this week. I have my February plans, a mini fabric haul, and a sewing tips and tricks vlogs to come. So if you do enjoy my content, please kindly like and subscribe, and I hope I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.